the book of John. John chapter 16. Last week we looked at a passage, and actually I did not even cover all the passages that we were supposed to cover. We talked about when the Spirit comes, He will prove the world wrong about some things. Sin, righteousness, and judgment to come. And I'd review that, except that you could just go online and review it yourself. So, we are going to pick up from that passage, and we're going to start in verse 12 of chapter 16. He said, I have much more to say to you, more than you can now bear. But when He, the Spirit of truth, comes, He will guide you into all truth. He will not speak on His own. He will speak only what He hears, and He will tell you what is yet to come. He will bring glory to me by taking from what is mine and making it known to you. All that belongs to the Father is mine. That is why I said the Spirit will take from me what is mine and will make it known to you. In a little while you will see me no more. Then after a little while you will see me. Some of His disciples said to one another, what does He mean by saying in a little while you will see me no more? And then after a little while you will see me, and because I'm going to the Father. They kept asking, what does He mean by a little while? We don't understand what He's saying. Jesus got through saying that I have more to say to you, but you guys can't bear it. You can't handle it right now. You remember, somehow we're in transit. We've left where they had the Lord's Supper. Remember, He said, let's go. And we're on our way to the Garden of Gethsemane. We know that because, well, we read the other books and we saw the movie. In transit, He's telling them some things, and their spirits are taking a serious dive. And He can see that. He can see that they're about to reach what they can bear right now. They can't handle anything more. And so He says, you know, I'm going to go away in a little while, and then I'm going to come back, and you'll see me again in a little while. And they said, what's He mean? What does He mean? Then He goes on and says, in verse 19, Jesus saw that they wanted to ask Him about this, so He said to them, are you asking one another what I meant when I said, in a little while you will see me no more, and then after a little while you will see me? I tell you the truth, you will weep and mourn while the world rejoices. You will grieve, but your grief will turn to joy. A woman giving birth to a child has pain because her time has come. And when her baby is born, she forgets the anguish. I don't know if that's true or not. Okay, all right. She forgets the anguish because of her joy that a child is born into the world. So with you, now is your time to grieve, but I will see you again. And you will rejoice, and no one will take away your joy. In that day, you will no longer ask me anything. I tell you the truth, my Father will give you whatever you ask in my name. Until now you have not asked for anything in my name. Ask and you will receive, and your joy may be complete. Okay, that really cleared it up for them. Do you think they're any less confused now? I mean, this is one of those things that we see from the other side of the event. We can say, oh yeah, we know what He was saying. 3 days He's going to be gone in the tomb, and then He's going to come back and the joy will be complete. And surely they got that, right? Because He's told them before He's going to die in 3 days. And surely that sunk into them. And then when He says, I'm going to give you the Spirit, whatever you ask in my name, and oh yeah, that probably was good news to them. No, these guys are totally and thoroughly confused. Now, I have to tell you, I am normally really hard on the disciples. Really. Normally I think, what a bunch of nutballs. I mean, I have a tendency to be really, you got Peter talking because he needs to talk. He doesn't have anything to say, but he talks anyway. You've got their favorite argument being, who's the greatest? It's their favorite game in town. Some people play cards, they play who's the greatest. Some people play Monopoly, they play who's the greatest. Normally I look at those guys and say, what a group. How did Jesus put up with them? Jesus loved these guys. And he knows right now they are thoroughly perplexed. They are thoroughly confused, but they are there with him in Jerusalem, where it's really dangerous right now. And after I read this passage, it struck me how much sympathy Jesus had for their situation. Look at this next section. He says, though I have been speaking figuratively, a time is coming when I will no longer use this kind of language, but will tell you plainly about my Father. In that day you will ask in my name. I'm not saying that I will ask the Father on your behalf. No, the Father himself loves you because you've loved me and have believed that I've come into the world. I've come from the Father, entered the world, and now I am leaving the world. I'm leaving the world and going back to the Father. Then Jesus' disciples said, now you are speaking clearly and without figures of speech. You know how trying that must be? That somebody speaks to you, and I don't know if somebody, I don't know if any of you are still reading out of King James out there. You don't have to raise your hand. King James says Proverbs, speaking of Proverbs, in figurative speech. This symbolizes that, right? And you just would like them to just come out and say, just what exactly do you mean here? And Jesus knows that he's been driving these guys crazy. He's been speaking in parables. He's speaking figures of speech. Why can't he just come out and tell them, this is what's going to happen? Because they'll probably mess it up. Jesus knew what he had to do. He knew that they weren't going to understand. He knew that they weren't going to help. But he had to get this thing done. And so he spoke in figures of speech and says, there's going to come a time when I'm going to tell you plainly, without using figures of speech about the Father. And they went, oh boy, that's great. It says here, now you are speaking clearly without figures of speech. Now we can see that you know all things and that you do not even need to have anyone ask you questions. This makes us believe that you came from God. He's hit a button here, hasn't he? They went, whoa, yeah, cool. He knows that we're thoroughly confused and perplexed. He must be from God. He says, you believe at last? Jesus answered, but a time is coming, and has come, when you will be scattered, each to his own home. You will leave me all alone, yet I am not alone, for my Father is with me. I've told you these things so that you may have peace. In this world, you will have trouble. But take heart. I have overcome the world. What a kind and generous thing Jesus has done, acknowledging that they are confused and perplexed. And so I know you don't understand. And I know that you're going to be scattered. But a time is coming when you're going to understand. A time is coming when we're not going to have to talk in parables anymore. A time is coming when I can tell you, and the Spirit can tell you what's going to happen in the future, and you're going to know. But it's just not yet. It's not yet. So take heart. You're going to have trouble in this world, but just take heart. I've got it beat. I have overcome the world. Now we know what happens, right? Because we read the story, we saw the movie. They all scatter. They all hide out. They're all surprised when Jesus is raised from the dead, right? They do some strange and weird things, and then the Spirit comes and they quit doing these strange and weird things and start getting on with the work of Jesus. Now, that's what Jesus says is going to happen.